Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 24 career mode. This is part number 39 today for the Las Vegas Grand Prix in Season 2. This is the penultimate race of this season and championship fight between myself and Fernando Alonso. If you guys did miss the previous episode, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. A very crucial race. Obviously, the last four of these races have all been very crucial and are going to be crucial because we had that 31-point deficit to Fernando Alonso after that engine failure in Singapore. Last time out, we're at the brand new circuit Portimao for F1 24. The first time we went around that roller coaster of a circuit, and after some initial concerns, we grew into the race. I felt we're able to control things and we're definitely able to navigate the wet periods in that race to come through for a W, 2 in a row to be exact, and ones that get us firmly back into this championship fight. We have now got 6 points between myself and Fernando Alonso, but we've got one more race before the finale, which means this could easily still go wrong for us depending on this race, because if Alonso wins, if I came second, that's 7 points, so that's already straight away then a much harder task going into the final race if I had to overcome 13 whole points, and that's just the minimum impact that Alonso could have in this race. Obviously, that does presume that he's going to be fighting in the front, but we know he will be. He's been unreal, unrelenting this season in terms of consistency, out and out raw pace. I mean, if you look at the results of the season, I'm on 6 wins now for the entire season, which might be one of the highest tallies of wins I've ever had in a 16-race calendar in recent F1 games, to be honest. But Alonso's been so damn consistent that with 2 wins less, he still leads us in the championship, which just shows also the impact that DNF at Singapore was, the DNF, obviously the engine failure in Canada as well was, and then obviously just, yeah, he's just been there. I mean, he's only been off the podium a handful of times, and when he's not been on the podium, he's literally usually been in the top 5. There's only one race where he's been outside of the top 5, and that was the race where we had a DNF, so he timed that very nicely. We're going through the activity timeline here just to get that last little weekly resource income, because previously we couldn't afford a single upgrade, but now we've just ticked over 1,800 R&D points, so we can afford this upgrade, 801 R&D points for a minor drag reduction upgrade. The high inflation has really hit home. That's so painful to think about. Remember at the start of this series, the start of the game, how cheap minor upgrades were, and now this one costs 1,800, but we're going to go ahead and purchase it. It comes in time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, so we will have one final upgrade in for the final race of the season. That was also the upgrade that Lando had his eye on, so I'm begging him that he goes and spends his R&D points on something else. We go into the race weekend. He has purchased something else, so we're going to have 2 minor upgrades. It's not going to be world-changing, but at least it's something, because as it stands, ourselves, Red Bull and Aston Martin plateauing since the Brazilian Grand Prix, but they are both ahead of us, just by a tiny amount, but they're ahead of us on the R&D chart. It's so tight though. Obviously the drivers are still making the difference. You saw last 2 episodes we're able to win, so we're still up there, but it would be nicer. I would feel more comfortable going into Abu Dhabi with these 2 minor upgrades to, if we could just maybe tick a bit closer, maybe even overtake them in the R&D chart, that'd be pretty awesome, and just gives us that confidence boost going to that final race. But into this one, Mercedes bring an upgrade, so they may be a little bit closer, and we just got to hope that there's no last surprise into Abu Dhabi from Aston Martin with a big upgrade to end the season. Otherwise, we are going to be up against it. But of course, we can help our chances today by trying to maximize the result here in Las Vegas. Let's go to qualifying.
Stand by to see cars at more than 210 miles an hour blasting their way down the strip. F1 has taken over. It's F1 Fever, Las Vegas.
Cheesy lines from Crofty aside, I'm excited about this one, but also a little bit nervous when it comes to race day, because with this game, especially with the way slipstreaming DRS works, being so powerful, the battery as well, I think Las Vegas, we saw it already in Season 1, it'll probably be even worse in Season 2, is going to be just a yo-yo. So this qualifying, although important, I genuinely think, especially with how close the grid is, with the R&D all bunching us close together, I think you could easily qualify like P15 and still look for the race win in the right car. Like if you're in one of the top 5 teams, you know, even Merc and Ferrari, I think they have a chance. You know, if you were driving for their car, you would have a chance as a player. Such is the way the slipstreaming is on this game, and you know, and has been in Las Vegas anyway since the track came to the F1 game. But on F1 24 compared to F1 23, it's even more ridiculous how much you can gain with the right momentum off a slow corner on that main straight with DRS and ERS. So we're going out there trying to maximize what we can, and after a bit of a shaky start in Q1 when we didn't look that quick, we do find some pace in Q2 to go fastest of all, but it's very tight. Verstappen's up there once again. A potential new teammate for Season 3 is only 0.069 behind us, of course. I say potential because we've left our options open on purpose to see what's what when we come to the end of the season. But Verstappen, no doubt, has been a player in this championship. Not directly, he's not in the title fight, but he has been with us, ruffling the feathers of myself and Alonso, and well could directly alter the results of this race and next race, as he did in the last 2 races, to affect the point standing. So we need to watch out for what he's doing. Obviously watch out for what Lando's doing, as he could help us. He has helped us somewhat in the last 2 races, so let's see what we can do today. I mean, right now we're up against it. P7 wasn't a great first flying lap. Purple first sector, green the second. It still didn't feel like that great of a lap, but it's going to be enough to grab another pole position in this season, as this game once again proves to be opposite day when it comes to the F1 game. I've never been a good qualifier, and yet once again we're qualifying well here on pole position. But look how tight. It was almost necessary to go for pole because Alonso was up there, Verstappen's up there, consistent as ever, 0.081 separating the top 3. But in the race, I think, honestly, you know, it's anyone's game. I can't call it. It is going to be a case of it's guaranteed to go down to the final few laps. Let's go to the grid.
Tickets for this one sold out in a matter of seconds, some for as much as $1 million. There's a massive interest in Formula One in the United States, so it's no surprise we have a 3rd race in America. Welcome to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. 17 corners, 3 straights, 2 DRS zones, and the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas as we race around the 3.8 miles of Sin City. The strip has been taken over to become a straight tonight, commanding top speeds of around 212 miles an hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. In pole position then, it's McLaren, and it's Fernando Alonso alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Perez, Stroll, Hamilton, Gasly, Russell, Sainz, Albon, Sargent, Ocon, Hulkenberg, Joe, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Ricciardo, and Yuki Tsunoda. And now it's time to head down to the track. And alongside me today, a man who I'm always pleased to see join me in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you know, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, you know, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, you know, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
This is going to be one hectic race down that back straight, swapping left, right and centre, I feel, between not only myself and Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, Norris, maybe the Ferraris, maybe the Mercedes cars with upgrades today. Very odd situation where they're all bunching up and ghosting through each other. We're just focusing on ourselves as the pole man, of course, lining up here on the right-hand side. Strategy today seems like it's going to be a one-stop medium to hard. There is a two-stop available that may be just as quick, but I think the one-stop will ultimately be the superior one. But here we go then to 5 red lights. This second last race of this season to set up the finale. Lights out, and we're underway for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. It's a good start for myself and Alonso. We have to give him a squeeze into turn 1, and he backs out of it. We maintain first place. It was a really important, subtle move to the left, to the apex of turn 1 to make sure we remain in first place. But now the problem is Alonso has the run down this first initial straight that will have DRS, of course, on lap 2. Right now, Alonso, though, with pure slipstream, tries it, but just can't quite find enough. But you can already see that straight is going to be a problem once DRS is activated. But Alonso slings it through on the left here. Alonso's caught me napping. We were way too cautious into that corner. It's so difficult to judge, especially on lap 1 with a heavy fuel, and we were just way too cautious on the brakes, and Alonso has just sent it and gone for it, and rightly so, is into first place then. So now we have work to do. Already you can see the sense that there is going to be a big DRS train in this race. It might break away a little bit, but DRS training still a little bit of an issue on this game, and definitely in a place like Las Vegas where the competition's high, the slipstream is mega as we look to re-overtake Alonso. Not wanting to use too much battery though, as we see the yellow bar still over half, as I'm making sure I save enough for this area of the circuit. We had a little, half look at Alonso, but now we can really use a decent amount of battery as we cross the line for that new allocation. The green bar fills up again. We can use a bit more, and we can look to go around the outside, but we're still actually saving a good amount of battery, and we don't need it, to be fair, as we're fully through and past Alonso. As I expected more of a challenge on the exit, but we've got him. But to be fair, Alonso's not challenged us because he knows he can get the slipstream back. But here comes Max Verstappen, of all people, in the Red Bull, is into first place now. What did I say? He was going to affect this championship fight. He was going to be in the middle of us, and he is immediately on lap 2. As you see there, we slammed the door shut on the left-hand side that time. We, learn from our mistakes on lap 1, but Verstappen now looking very quick. He's nearly a second clear of us. We're still within DRS just about, but that Red Bull actually has nearly broken the train, but Alonso is going to come right back into it, and you can see I'm being quite stubborn at the moment about saving battery. The yellow bar is still quite high. I'm just really concerned about getting minced completely by a couple of cars in one go. So even if it means getting overtaken, this is the thing. I'm so confident that you can just come straight back at them, either into turn 1 like this with enough battery use, or there's DRS coming up. There's DRS on the next lap. As long as you're within 1 second, you're going to come back. Like, genuinely, I can already tell you the race is going to go to the last lap. It has to. It always does at Las Vegas, even on F1 23, let alone F1 24, where the DRS is unbelievably overpowered. As we saw there, by the way, Sergio Perez out of this race in his second last race probably for Red Bull, as we lock up into that. Oh, that left-hander is causing us so many problems. I'm either going too cautious, I do well 1 lap, and then that time we overcook it, and Alonso completely gets us. And now on lap 4, Lando Norris, our teammate, is going to come through. To my surprise, really, he just powers his way past. I wasn't actually thinking he was going to make that overtake. I was ready just to sit behind Alonso, get a bit of slipstream, save the battery, and then maybe make a move on Alonso myself into turn 1. But it seems like Lando Norris will actually maybe have a go at him because our teammate flies by us. So that's going to be another thing to worry about. So not only Verstappen up there in P1, Lando's looking pretty quick around here. Leclerc's still here. You can see the minimap. Leclerc, Stroll, the Mercedes, all of them still involved in this train of cars slipstreaming each other as we come back at our teammate. But up ahead, look at that, Alonso into first. That's not good news for us. We need to get a hurry up now. As soon as Alonso gets into first, that's when my panic button is going off in my head, because Verstappen leading, that's not a problem. Like, if he was to win or Lando's to win, that's fine, you know, as long as we can try and beat Alonso. But if Alonso gets the win, you know, minimum, if he gets the win, minimum I can do is P2, and that's still, like I said, 7 big points towards Fernando. So that's no good as we overtake Verstappen and make a late lunge, lock up the rear, drifting through this tight sequence at the end of the lap here in Nevada. And Alonso maintains first place, but we were oh so close to getting that done. Oh so close for it being a disaster, to be honest, as well. As we go on to lap 8, Alonso is defending the inside, making it really awkward to go for that inside dive bomb. We go to the outside, and he's actually managed to get the elbow out and just go wide enough on the racing line mid-apex to also sweep across and defend the outside line. So we're going to have to wait patiently for the DRS move now. But as I go for the pass, Verstappen's in the mixer as well, and we're being very cautious because that was very fine. It could have been worse. I could have been pinched in by Verstappen turning in as we continue to battle Alonso, trying to get down the inside over the curb. Both of us mounting the curbs, donned with the casino theme, as we're neck and neck, banging tyres, maybe a little bit of rubbing on the wall as things are getting a little bit frosty between ourselves and our championship rival. Verstappen, meanwhile, he's broken 1 second. He is ahead, and he's not going to have DRS to worry about from the cars chasing Alonso. I don't know if we've got DRS or not. Did Alonso enter that section behind us or ahead of us? It won't matter because Lando's coming through. Stroll's coming through. It's 2 Astons, the 2 McLarens. It's a checkerboard pattern going on here. Can we re-overtake Alonso? Stroll getting involved. He might try and go for the double pass. It's going to be a bit of contact and ping pong going on in the middle, and we're oh no, we've spun it on the back of Alonso's car. We tapped his car, and it's ground, and there's a crash with the Williams. Safety car's out because that Williams of Albon crashed into the stalled Ferrari, and it's a red flag. I was going to come into the pits for a free pit stop, but no point coming in now because of red flag. But that red flag, partly because of us. Obviously, the actual crash was with Albon and the Ferrari that was slow, but they were only slow because they parked up behind Hamilton, who was trying to avoid me half spinning. We did very well to keep out of the wall, but in doing so, we basically caused that traffic jam that happened. But it all started with, well, this 3-wide moment. Look at that. Stroll goes for the double overtake on his own teammate. Now here, this could have been very bad for Alonso, for me. He's had a bit of ping pong. He's hit his teammate, he's hit me, he's held us up there a bit, he's held up Stroll. He goes through, that's all fine. And then there, I made contact with Alonso's rear end because I went so much quicker than the both of them through that left-hander that I didn't foresee them being so slow. Little love tap, and the car was already a bit floaty, and it just went round. And then obviously the domino effect was that crash then with Hamilton avoiding and Albon not avoiding the Ferrari. But the red flag pretty much guarantees we're all going to hard, so it's maybe made the strategy a little bit less interesting, but it means it's going to be an intense all guns blaze from lap 11 to lap 25 now on the hard tyres as we go to 5 red lights for the second time here tonight in Las Vegas. We're down in P6, we've got to make some moves. Verstappen leads, Lando in second, and we go for a big lunge, and we actually make contact with Alonso. I was so desperate to get the 2 passes done on Lewis and Stroll that we made a bit of contact with Alonso. No harm done, no front wing damage, but Alonso has actually gone and got second place. Can Lando come back at him and do me a solid and just hold him up a little bit? At this stage, Verstappen's getting away a bit, but we, like I said, we don't care. We don't mind if someone else was to go and win it, but we do care about where Alonso is at this stage. You know, the last 2 races, compared to the first few races of the season, my mind is laser focused on just covering Alonso and worrying about that championship fight. It's very different to the first races of the season where you're trying to maximize position. Now it's more about that Alain Prost approach, you know, doing the minimum in order to win, you know, bit of F1 chess. But the problem for me at the moment is Alonso is completely smashing that to pieces because he's going for the win. So that means I have to go for the win. Alonso getting back up into first place. Verstappen enjoying a little bit of a lead, but it's completely squashed now as the DRS is enabling Alonso, myself, to pull back in. Lando now a bit further behind, squabbling with Stroll and a Ferrari. The grid is actually ironically spreading out more since that red flag restart. So it's just kind of the top 5 who are together as we make the move on Verstappen, and now we make a move on Alonso, grazing the wall, the car on edge as we go into that left-hander corner, and we're up into first place. Alonso, oh, he's got no battery, absolutely no battery for the Spaniard, and the Dutchman's through. Verstappen into second place. If it was to end like this, it would be very ideal for me, but we've got 9 laps to go, so that's definitely not going to happen. But Verstappen being up there in second, Alonso down to third, just gets me a little bit excited, but we've got so long to go. So if this had happened on the second last lap, that would have been so great for us. But Verstappen now is going to come knocking, and there's no point defending because, as I've said, you just know you're going to come back, you know, unless you have a huge mistake, you know you're going to regain position and have another chance as we do here. But this time, it's 3 abreast for a moment. Alonso is on the outside, and he's going to really push us hard into that left-hander, nearly making contact with him and into the wall as well, as Alonso wants the lead, but we are going to come right back at him as we swap once again. Though, it is close, though. It is getting very close. We've been so respectful all season long. We've not had an issue all season, myself and Alonso, you know, up until about Spa. That Belgium Grand Prix episode, we weren't even fighting together on track much as title rivals. It was all done on strategy, but now in the final few races we're having some great wheel-to-wheel battles, but that also includes our teammate, the other McLaren. Lando's come out of nowhere. He's overtaken Verstappen, and he's only gone for the double overtake on myself and Fernando as we go into this section, and we see the... Oh, that's just hilarious. Seeing the sphere there. It's the first time I've really noticed it properly there as we're relaxing, watching Lando and Alonso fight, and we see the big smiling emoji face. Will it be all smiles for us, or will it be smiles for Alonso by the end of it? Because Lando leads, it's a 1-2 for McLaren. Can we try and maybe see this home? Wishful thinking though, because you just know there's still going to be swapping and action to go. Lap 19, Lando pulling away 2.2. I've done that on purpose because if he can go and just win, sail off into the distance, that's good because it means it's one less thing to worry about in terms of Alonso getting the lead. But what I do have to worry about is being completely swarmed by 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. Stroll's by, Leclerc's by, Alonso, Verstappen, all of them caught me unawares because look at the battery. We had no battery down that straight because I did so much to get to that position. After, you know, Lando made the overtake, we made the overtake Alonso, and we just didn't do a good enough job managing the battery at that point. So we had no battery left. That's why they all swarmed by me. If I had over-deployed, I would literally have 0 battery at this point. So at least I have a little bit of battery now to fight back and hopefully save battery into these next few corners when we have DRS as we go around the outside of Leclerc, putting the battery into none in these kind of moments to try and save it as much as we can. But we're having to use a bit of overtake mode to get the move done on Leclerc. Leclerc very aggressive. We have to be aggressive back to maintain P4, but we've got 5 laps to go. Lando about 2 seconds ahead. I'm really hoping that he can sail off for first place, and we're getting the hurry up and motivation from our engineer Mark to go overtake Alonso, and we've got till the last lap. So literally this is a communication to say go and beat your championship rival by the end of the race. But the problem is now I thought Lando could pull away into the distance. He's not. The DRS is so powerful, and Alonso gets into first in the last 3 laps. This is desperation. Verstappen either side of Lando we go, and we make the double pass on our teammate and Max Verstappen, and it's a crucial, necessary overtake because Alonso leads the race. We have to overtake him if he's in first place. There is no way we can go into the finale confident of maybe turning the tide if he wins this race, even if we're second. So we have to go for this move, but we've only got 2 laps left. After this one, Verstappen's in there. Lando falling away a little bit. We're going to go for the pass, but as we do, Verstappen comes through as well. We're saving a lot of battery as we get ping-ponged from left and right. I'm pretty sure Alonso massively cut the corner there as well, by the way, to stay in place. But now it's him versus Verstappen, but you can see in the bottom right, I'm still being very, very cautious and tactical with the battery, knowing that even if I overtake Alonso now, it's not over yet. It's going to be over on the last lap. We need a full bar of battery on the last lap. So even if it means right now feeling the pressure and maybe not being as quick as possible on this second last lap, it's in order to save enough battery. But we will try and go for the lead if we can, because that would be even better. But we're being cautious. Verstappen is going to hold through, and we're not going to overextend ourselves trying to go for first place now, because Verstappen leads. I'm fine with that. I can live with that. What I can't live with is if Alonso gets us as we go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. So we've got a lot of battery to spare. We've got about, what, 62% that is. That's a good amount to just watch where the Aston is, deploy when needed, and Verstappen can just do his thing. I don't mind about him. We're just playing this to the numbers. We're playing this for the championship as we remain ahead, and we're saving a lot of battery through here. We're up to 86% of ERS. That's very good. We even have DRS off Verstappen still. So it's a double aid on this straight, but by the time we get to the back straight, Verstappen has really got the legs out, and we don't have DRS anymore. So we need that extra battery. That's going to be so handy, because now we're down to single figures. But look at the way Alonso is gaining. He's still gaining as we stop deploying momentarily to try and give the ERS a bit of a breather, and we need that little last bit for this last part of the circuit. But we are going to remain ahead of Alonso. It's second place and the fastest lap of the Grand Prix versus third. So it's going to be 4 points on Alonso.
The checkered flag is out. We're going to be hearing that Dutch national anthem again, because it's victory for Max Verstappen.
To witness such mastery of these conditions, these changeable conditions that we saw today, is very impressive indeed. So a huge congratulations to this driver for taking victory today.
Verstappen takes the plaudits here in Las Vegas, but the championship is still very much just between myself and Alonso. 2 points. 2 points. We brought it back from 32 to 2 points in the championship. That is what I call an amazing, amazing comeback series of drives in the last 3 episodes. Championship-wise for the constructors, we've sealed it. We only needed 1 point in this race to seal the Constructors' Championship. We've done it. We've got back-to-back Constructors' Championships with McLaren, with our teammate Lando Norris, who currently is the reigning world champion. But next episode, we'll crown a new champion. It will be the finale of Season 2 here. Guys, if you enjoyed this one, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time for the finale of Season 2.